英語で国内ニュースです。優しい英語で今日の出来事をお届けします。
Jockey Seina Imamura made history at the 87th Oaks race in Tokyo on May 24, 2026. Riding Juryoku Piero, the 22-year-old became the first JRA female jockey to win a G1 Classic race. Juryoku Piero, the fifth favorite, secured the 150 million yen prize. Imamura described the victory as like a dream.
Reports on May 23rd indicate the U.S. and Iran are nearing an agreement. This deal includes a 60-day ceasefire extension and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's oil export limits would ease, and talks would begin to curb its nuclear program. Iran would remove mines while the U.S. would lift some sanctions.
In旭川, zookeeper Tatsuya Suzuki, 33, rearrested for his wife's murder, reportedly searched strangulation and incinerator time online months before police found these searches on his smartphone, suggesting the killing was planned. Suzuki was previously indicted for burning his wife's body at旭山Zoo.
A shooting occurred near the White House in Washington, D.C. on May 23. The Secret Service reported one suspect died and one civilian was injured nearby. President Trump was not affected by the incident. Authorities are investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting.
Dao Okamoto has made history, becoming the first Japanese actress to win Best Actress at the Cannes Film Festival. She received the award jointly with Virginie Efira for her role in director Ryusuke Hamaguchi's film, Suddenly Feeling Unwell. The prestigious award was announced on May 24th.
Philippine authorities arrested Yuto Kino, a 42-year-old Japanese man, wanted for allegedly sexually assaulting 3 children in Hokkaido in 2018. Kino fled to the Philippines in 2019. An arrest warrant was issued in 2024. Electronic devices containing child sexual abuse materials were seized. Kino faces deportation to Japan.
Japan's duty lawyer system, offering free legal consultations to arrested suspects, faces collapse. The number of registered lawyers is at a record low, just 30.7% last year. The system, funded by bar association fees and lawyers' public service spirit, is unsustainable due to low compensation. Osaka has declared an emergency situation.
Elderly foreign residents in Japan increasingly face poverty, losing jobs and lacking pensions. Most are ineligible for public welfare, a rule some want to tighten. Support groups like those in Gunma's Oizumi town assist these individuals. Many struggle with Japanese, affecting their access to benefits and employment.
Japan's disaster weather warnings are changing to a new 5-level system, introducing a Level 4 dangerous warning. This aims for clearer information, urging evacuation by Level 4, which indicates imminent danger. Level 5 means disaster is happening, requiring immediate safety measures. These updates address previous information complexity.
A survey by Asahi Shimbun revealed that nearly 90% of Japanese parents desire more sex education in schools. Furthermore, 70% believe the stoppage clause, which limits topics like pregnancy in the curriculum, is unnecessary. Parents want clearer, comprehensive sex education, with 94% urging a review of these restrictive guidelines.
次は社会のニュースです。
A 33-year-old employee at Asahiyama Zoo in旭川, Hokkaido, was rearrested for allegedly killing his wife. Police investigations revealed he had searched for information about killing acts on his smartphone for several months before the incident. This discovery suggests premeditation in the case.
A brown bear was frequently sighted near a ski jump in Shibetsu City, Hokkaido, only 100 meters from residential areas. After another sighting on May 24th, the city decided to use emergency hunting to cull the bear. This measure allows local governments to use shotguns to eliminate dangerous wildlife.
During Fukushima's traditional Soma no Mai festival, a horse in the armored horse race went off course after its rider fell. The horse then collided with spectators, injuring 3 people. They were transported to a hospital, but their injuries are fortunately not life-threatening.
The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference ended without adopting a final document, sparking widespread disappointment. Atomic bomb survivors and the mayors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki expressed deep regret. They criticized the failure to show a sincere commitment towards achieving a world free of nuclear weapons.
Tomoyuki Mimaki, 84, a Hidankyo representative and 2024 Nobel Peace Prize winner, is stepping down as chairman of Hiroshima Prefectural Hidankyo due to poor health. He will continue as a Hidankyo representative. Harada Hiroshi, 86, former director of the Atomic Bomb Memorial Museum, is expected to succeed him.
Elderly foreign residents in Japan increasingly face severe financial hardship, often losing jobs and lacking pensions. Most foreigners are ineligible for public assistance, and there are calls to tighten these rules. Support groups like those in Gunma Prefecture are working to assist these vulnerable individuals.
Japan's on-call lawyer system, offering free consultations to suspects right after arrest, faces a crisis. Many lawyers are withdrawing, with registrations at a record low of 30.7%. Supported by bar association fees and lawyers' public service spirit, the system is reaching its limits, largely due to low compensation.
Japan's disaster weather information, including warnings, is changing significantly. A new 5-level system will be introduced, adding a Level 4 dangerous warning. This aims to simplify information, linking it to existing rain alert levels. The crucial point is to complete evacuations from dangerous areas by Level 4.
A linear rain band formed over central and southern Okinawa Island on May 23rd night, prompting significant heavy rain information. Although heavy rain clouds are moving away, the ground remains loose from previous rainfall. The Japan Meteorological Agency urges continued vigilance for potential landslides in the area.
LDP Policy Research Council Chairman Kobayashi reaffirmed his opposition to granting imperial family status to spouses and children of female imperial family members. This concerns instances where female royals would remain in the imperial household after marriage, as part of ongoing discussions about stable imperial succession.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
Nissan has cancelled its plan to produce electric vehicle powertrains in the UK. This decision is part of a business restructuring, aiming to reduce the number of vehicle factories and overall production capacity. Its subsidiary Jatco was set to build a factory in Sunderland by 2026. Now, Nissan's UK EV plant will likely receive powertrains from Japan instead.
Urban redevelopment projects in Japan are facing widespread delays and cancellations. Soaring construction costs from expensive materials and labor shortages make them unprofitable. The Middle East situation also causes unstable material procurement. This impacts future city planning. For instance, the Imperial Hotel Tokyo postponing its main building reconstruction and the Grand Prince Hotel New Takanawa revising its rebuilding schedule.
Diet leaders are rushing to finalize proposals for a stable imperial succession, aiming to present them next week. The plan will likely suggest female imperial family members can remain in the family after marriage. However, political parties are still discussing whether their spouses and children would also become imperial family members.
The government plans 100 billion yen to support LP gas households, especially in rural areas, amid the Middle East conflict. A 2026 supplementary budget is set to increase local grants for this purpose. Furthermore, 2.5 trillion yen in reserves is planned for Middle East responses. Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae will soon explain the overall 3 trillion yen budget.
Representatives from various political parties recently debated constitutional amendment on NHK's Sunday debate. They discussed the pros and cons of changing the constitution and how to move forward with discussions in diet committees. A Liberal Democratic Party official noted there is significant momentum building for constitutional reform.
Economy Minister Akazawa met Chinese Commerce Minister Wang at the APEC meeting. This was the first ministerial contact since Prime Minister Takaichi's Taiwan remarks last November. Akazawa requested China correct its arbitrary export controls on rare earths. China had strengthened these export controls on dual-use products to Japan after the Prime Minister's comments.
Japan faces drug loss, where new foreign medications aren't sold due to profitability concerns. This issue is linked to U.S. President Trump's most favored nation drug pricing policy. For example, Imrulio, a breast cancer drug approved in late 2025, still lacks a price and is unavailable. This unusual delay raises fears about future access to vital medicines.
Japan's government plans a 3 trillion yen supplementary budget due to the Middle East situation. It will increase contingency funds and continue gasoline subsidies. Funded by deficit bonds, officials aim to limit new issuance by offsetting it with last year's unissued bonds. This seeks to ease concerns about fiscal deterioration despite the ongoing large costs.
The new Child and Child Care Support Fund system has started, with deductions appearing in May salaries for many. Confusion exists about whether the actual financial burden is zero. For employees, the average monthly deduction is around 500 yen. This amount is 0.23% of their standard monthly remuneration, with employers covering half.
A cross-party national council is making final adjustments for Japan's new benefit-linked tax credit system. They are urgently resolving remaining issues, including defining the income levels eligible for support and determining the methods for tax reduction. These efforts aim to complete an interim report on the system's design before summer.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
JRA female jockey Seina Imamura, 22, won the G1 Oaks on May 24th. This marks her first G1 victory and the first time a JRA female jockey has won one of the 5 major classic races. She also becomes the first JRA female jockey to claim a G1 title. Imamura achieved 51 wins as a rookie in 2022.
Dodgers pitcher Roki Sasaki secured his 3rd win of the season against the Brewers. He struggled early but managed to pitch 5 innings, allowing 3 runs. In the same game, Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani contributed with 2 hits and 1 RBI, including a timely hit, helping the team.
Dayon Viciedo, who played for Dena and was the professional baseball batting champion in 2018, is set to retire. The 37-year-old infielder from Cuba played for the Chunichi Dragons starting in 2016. He had a successful career known for his powerful hitting.
Iran's national football team has moved its World Cup training base from the U.S. to Mexico. On May 23rd, the Iran Football Federation announced FIFA approved this change, citing difficulties in obtaining U.S. visas. The team will now be based in Tijuana, Mexico, simplifying travel logistics.
Golfer Yusaku Hosono, 23, secured his long-awaited first tour victory at a major, the Japan Professional Golf Championship, on May 24th. This historic win marks the first time a Japanese left-handed golfer has claimed a major title in 35 years. Hosono's achievement was celebrated by fans.
World heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk won his title defense in Egypt on May 23, defeating Rico Verhoeven by 11th round TKO. Usyk kept his undefeated record. However, the referee's decision to stop the fight drew widespread criticism. Many questioned the early stoppage, with some calling for the referee's permanent ban.
WBO Women's Super Flyweight champion Mizuki Hiruta successfully defended her title for the 7th time on May 23 in Giza, Egypt. The 30-year-old southpaw defeated challenger Mai Solomon of Australia by a unanimous 3-0 decision. Hiruta dominated with speed and punches, maintaining her undefeated record of 11 wins.
Oryx Buffalo's pitcher Taisuke Yamaoka was pulled from his first start in 3 years against Seibu on May 24th. He lasted less than 1 inning, throwing only 20 pitches and allowing 2 runs. Yamaoka gave up a solo home run on his first pitch and struggled with control, leading to an early exit.
The first ever enhanced games, an international competition allowing doping, is set to begin in Las Vegas, U.S. On May 24th, CEO Martin Maximilian predicts many world records will be broken. Athletes can use FDA-approved substances under medical supervision. Winners across track, swimming, and weightlifting will receive $250,000.
Golfer Shiho Kawaki, 23, achieved a rare albatross at the Bridgestone Ladies Open on May 24th. On the second hole, a par 5, her second shot from 200 yards out rolled directly into the cup. This marks the first albatross on the domestic women's tour in 11 years, and the 13th such feat.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
A shooting occurred near the White House in Washington, D.C. on the 23rd. The Secret Service, responsible for presidential security, announced that 1 suspect died and 1 nearby civilian was injured. President Trump was not affected by the incident.
President Trump announced on May 23rd that an agreement with Iran is almost complete. He stated the Strait of Hormuz, vital for energy transport, will be opened. Iranian sources confirmed readiness to sign a ceasefire memorandum. This agreement reportedly includes a 60-day ceasefire, free navigation in Hormuz, and Iran's pledge not to pursue nuclear weapons.
A coal mine explosion occurred in Shanxi Province, China, on May 22nd. The incident resulted in 82 deaths and 128 people being hospitalized for treatment. Chinese authorities have detained the mine's officials and are thoroughly investigating the cause of the accident.
The U.S. has informed Japan that the delivery of Tomahawk cruise missiles will be delayed by up to 2 years. This delay is attributed to the U.S. military's significant use of ammunition in recent attacks on Iran. This could impact Japan's plan to acquire up to 400 Tomahawks by fiscal year 2027, intended as a temporary measure.
Ukrainian President Zelensky announced an attack on a Russian military-related company located 1,700 kilometers from the border. This follows Ukraine's drone attack on the outskirts of Moscow on May 17th. These actions indicate Ukraine is intensifying its long-range strikes against Russia.
North Korea's Rodong Sinmun newspaper reported on May 24th the Neongnado women's football team won the Women's Asia Champions League. They defeated Japan's NTV Tokyo Verdy Baleza 1-0 in the final. The paper praised the victory as a great source of inspiration for the people. This was the first time North Korean athletes competed in South Korea in about 7.5 years.
During the U.S.-China summit in Beijing on May 14th, Chinese President Xi Jinping criticized Prime Minister Takaichi by name, claiming Xi and Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te threatened regional peace. U.S. President Trump, however, defended Takaichi's leadership. Trump later called Takaichi to confirm close U.S.-Japan cooperation. Japanese government officials anticipate prolonged tensions with China.
The APEC Trade Ministers meeting in China concluded on May 23rd. With the tense Middle East situation in mind, ministers agreed to cooperate. Their goal is to maintain resilient supply chains for essential goods, including energy.
The Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference ended without adopting a final document, marking the third consecutive failure after 2015 and 2022. Experts noted the negotiations were very difficult. They highlighted that a clause on North Korea's denuclearization was removed from the final draft, potentially weakening the NPT system's credibility.
Ukrainian President Zelensky sent a letter to EU leaders on May 22nd, rejecting a proposal for Ukraine to become an EU associate member without voting rights. He called the plan unfair. German Chancellor Merz had proposed this, believing full EU membership by 2027 is unrealistic. Zelensky insists Ukraine should have full rights within the EU.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
Tao Okamoto won Best Actress at the 79th Cannes Film Festival for Ryusuke Hamaguchi's Suddenly, I Feel Unwell. She shares the award with Virginie Efira. This marks the first time a Japanese actor has received the Best Actress award at Cannes. Okamoto expressed gratitude to director Hamaguchi. The film, based on a book about life and illness, will be released in Japan on June 19th.
Detective Conan and Detective Precure are teaming up for an unusual collaboration announced on May 24th. Despite coming from different broadcasters and production companies, this detective crossover will feature special episodes. Conan will appear in Detective Precure on May 31st, and Cure Answer will be in Detective Conan on June 6th. Collaboration merchandise will also be released.
During Fukushima's traditional Soma no Maui festival on May 24th, a horse left the course during an armored race after its rider fell. The horse then came into contact with spectators. 3 people were injured and taken to the hospital. Their injuries are not considered life-threatening. The Soma no Maui is a significant cultural event.
Shogi player Kana Fukuma, 34, has secured her 8th consecutive Women's Osho title in the 3rd match of the 37th Women's Osho Best of 5 series, held on May 23rd in Aizuka City, Fukuoka. Fukuma defeated Ayaka Oshima Women's 2-dan with a clean sweep of 3 wins to 0. This victory brings Fukuma's total title acquisitions to 68.
2 historic private houses are set to become Japan's first national treasures. The Hakogi family residence in Kobe, dating to the 14th century, and the former Furui family residence in Himeji from the 15th century were recommended by the Cultural Council on May 22nd. These thatched roof homes, previously known as thousand-year houses, are recognized for their profound cultural and historical significance.
Mayu Sugita, 30, a former member of the groups Happiness and E-Girls, announced the birth of her first child, a baby girl. On May 24th, she shared the news on Instagram, stating the baby arrived approximately 2 weeks early. Sugita expressed joy about her new, busy life as a mother. She married a non-celebrity man in November 2023.
Actress Fumino Kimura, 38, announced the birth of her second child on her Instagram account on May 24th. She subtly revealed the news after sharing a post about her homemade dinner. Kimura also shared a photo of her first child holding a baby-shaped chopstick rest, stating they are now enjoying lively, busy, and precious days.
TV Asahi apologized on May 23rd for inappropriate questions and intentional staging on its variety show Ano Channel, aired May 18th. A segment broadcast a participant naming a disliked celebrity. TV Asahi admitted a lack of consideration caused discomfort and misrepresented the participant. The network stated full responsibility lies with the production side.
A Chinese film based on a true story of a wife who stabbed her husband has been canceled after public criticism. The movie Mother from Prison, starring the actual woman, was accused of distorting criminal facts by portraying her act as self-defense against domestic violence, contradicting court findings. The film had previously won an award at the San Sebastian International Film Festival.
Rintaro Karimata, 52, a Ryukyu broadcasting announcer, suffered a stroke in September 2023. Emergency surgery saved his life, but he developed severe aphasia, losing the ability to speak or understand. Karimata, a word professional, described the experience as losing his identity. He is now undergoing intense rehabilitation to regain his language skills.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。